very common human thing for us to all, again, look at others and say, oh, well, she's naturally vivacious and gregarious and has all this going on, and yet life happens. Things come in, and we all have to be confronted with those, and it's tough for as long as it's tough. But I think this is something that really moves me, because I've also had that life that's pretty much easy. And so being the compassion for humanity, that life, like being able to put yourself in the space of, I can be with you there, and really know that I just am so excited for anyone who gets a chance to work with you, because I feel like your love and the space that you held before was incredible, and now even like that much fuller.
Oh, it's so much more depthful. It's so much more depthful. Like, it's hard to explain, but it's anytime that I hear any kind of challenge someone is going through, in the past I would say it's like this, as people would say to me when I was in my depression, well, just think happy thoughts and just look for the bright side, and whatever the dumb things people say.
Now we say dumb things when we don't know what to say. Right. We can really come up with some dumb things.
I've done it a million times, right?
Yeah, me too.
But going through that now, I can hear people, and then I can say, oh wow, I really have so much compassion for what you're going through, and I mean it. You know, it's not a joke, and it's not like, oh, I think a happy thought. It's like, honey, I get it, and it's not fun to go through, and there's no two ways about that. There's no way you can be like, this is fun, whether it's a health issue or whatever. Of course, there's ways to be intentional and, create support systems to move through things. But for me now, it's being able to be with someone and just hold them in that pain and not try to make it better and not try to fix it immediately. That's the gift.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love that you're coaching, and I just want everyone, I think this is an important just note. All great athletes, all great business people, all great actors have coaches.
Yes.
And so, what is it in your opinion? What is it about coaching that has been? What happens in a coaching relationship?
Oh, that's such a good question. How I when I'm talking to a potential client, there's a few things that I will share with them about the coaching relationship, and it's that basically in your life you have a lot of people. We all have a lot of people. We have family, we have friends, we have partners, we have kids, whatever. But everyone, that's a give and take relationship. That's there's expectations on both sides. There's needs on both sides. There's history. Whatever it is. In a coaching relationship, it's so great because it's basically, I'm the only person in your life that's just there for you. I'm not there for me. I don't need anything from you except your truth, your honesty, your integrity, your vulnerability, your willingness to shift, your willingness to try. But I don't need you to call me once a week to check in to see how I'm doing. It's so funny because even when my clients want to be friends with me, but I'm like, no, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your coach. It's a very different relationship. Because friends, there's, well, let's go on vacation. And there's there's like this expectations on both sides. As a coach, I'm the only person in your life that's there strictly to basically cheer you on and to be with you in your challenges and to help you overcome your challenges and help you become the best version of yourself and, take the risks. I mean, your mom or your husband or whatever isn't going to be like, okay, you want to take that courageous action? Okay, great. You need to call that person? Great. So when is that going to happen? And are you going to call me when it's done? And how can I support you in doing it? Like that, we don't do that with friends and family and whatever. It's a different relationship. So as a coach, I'm there for you. And all I'm there for is to help you strive for whatever it is you're really excited about. And that's the uniqueness, is you get to have this one person, this one extraordinary experience in your life to feel so supported and so cared for and so nurtured and so held and so seen and so encouraged and so cheerleaded that that's life-changing in itself.
Yeah. I want everyone just to hear that, because unless you've maybe played a sport, but even as a team sport, you're sharing the attention or the guidance from a coach. But imagine having someone whose sole purpose in that relationship is for you to be the best version of yourself, or to help you move into whatever it is that you want. Like this idea of having a coach to me is like the evolution of humankind, of us being able to really enjoy our lives. Like it is almost the shortest distance to me, is if you can get the right coach and have someone in your corner who truly, so what I'd like to, I love the idea of that, and I think it's still a relatively new idea for most of the country. It's maybe in LA and New York and in different places, but this idea, I just want kind of everyone to kind of get a sense of it. Can you share, no names, but just kind of like what is a story, a success story of in this that you've seen?
Yeah, so one of my clients in Sweden, actually, overseas, I have clients all over the world, and because everything's virtual, so that's what's cool. That's what I love about the virtual space, is being able to work with people all over the world. And just to touch back on one other thing about coaching that's pretty extraordinary, is that the other thing that's powerful about about like a coach like me being with a client, is I'm not judging you. That's probably the biggest difference that I forgot to mention, is whenever we're with friends and family, blah, 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 we're all judging each other, which we do all day, every day, it's fine. But it's like if you came to me and you said, Arriane, I didn't, like, oh, I said I was going to call that person and I didn't call that person. And I know, and what my clients will say is, I know you're ashamed of me, or I know you think I did something wrong or whatever. And I laugh because I'm like, that's the opposite of what a coach is here to do. I'm not here to judge you for 1 second. And that's my whole intention, is to give you space to experience what it's like to not be judged, and to be explored and be curious, but not judged. So if you didn't call that person, I'm not like, oh my God, you're so bad, why didn't you call that person? It's not, the question is, okay, great, so what was the resistance? What were the stories you're telling yourself? What are the beliefs that you were thinking at the time? So let's shift those into something more powerful. So that place of non-judgment is extraordinary. And we don't get that anywhere, except with a coach and, this intimate experience. So one of my clients in Sweden, I love this. She's a public figure. She's very well known, and she's an author and speaker and awesome person. And we worked together a few years ago, and we did very, very powerful work in shifting her experience of self, of what she could bring to the planet, because she's already a known figure and, like I said, author stuff. But she was writing her first book when we started working together, and her intention was, I really want to be like a novel. It's not a novel. It's they're personal development books. But she's like, I want to be a known author. I want to be on the top of the bestseller list. And so we created what I call an ideal scene, which is really creating the vision of what she wants to create, very specifically. What does this look like? And I do this with all my clients. And then we work through the challenges. So if she has this vision of being this best-selling author, and when she envisions that, then what are the blocks that come up in that? Does she not think she's worthy? Does she not think she deserves it? Does she not think she's good enough? And so that's the kind of work I do as a coach, is helping unwind those and create new, more empowering ways of being with self and more empowering beliefs. So had a great time, worked with her for like a year, completed that contract. Cut to 2 years later, she calls me, she says, Arriane, I need to work with you again. I said, great, she's one of my favorite clients. I said, yes, let's go. And the first call, she says, Arriane, my book is a best-selling book all over Europe. And I went, what? And she said, everything we created, all that work we did together 2 years ago was the foundation for what's happening today. She goes, the ideal scenes, all the reframing of me owning my power and really living in my power as a strong, smart, confident woman in this world, and selling these books all over Europe. And it's like so great. It's so great to see a client literally shift her experience of self so that she could create a couple of years later what she really wanted. And is still doing it. And then she has her second and third book coming now. And so that's part of the power of coaching, because the seeds get planted. Sometimes things don't happen immediately. A lot of times they do, because once people start coaching with me, everything starts happening very fast. Yeah, it just turns the engine up. But sometimes we're planting the foundation of seeds to come later, because life doesn't evolve on our own timeline either. Life evolves on its own timeline, but we can guide it along, basically.